Welcome to the Carson City's Visitors Bureau Board of Directors regular meeting for December 8th, 2014 at 4 o'clock. We're going to start with a call to order. That's me, actually. I call to order. I'm calling to order. All right, I'm getting it together. All right, roll call.
Renee Plain. Here. Jonathan Bulware.
Here.
Stan Jones.
Present. Karen
Avowed. Here. Jesse Domi is absent. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I'll be right there.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, I missed you.
Okay, that could have gone a little better, but we got the gist of it. Public comment. Any comment? All righty. For possible action adoption of agenda, any changes to the agenda? Any recommendations, Joel, at all? Nope.
No changes.
We have a motion to.
I make a motion we accept the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Possible action approval of minutes from the November 17th, 2014 board meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the November 17th, 2014 board meeting as published.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. For possible action approval for ratification of monthly bills.
You bet. Actually, can we take just a moment? We're having an issue with recording equipment.
Does it mean to start over again?
No, we're good.
Okay.
And it's not going to go.
Okay. All right. In your packet, you've got the accounts payable checks, GMA Fund 740 through 742. Looking at the bills for the month ending. Going down the first page, the first ones are just the large amounts of the credit card payments. Continuing down, you've got once again, we'll just go over, the large items. Everything else is just pretty standard. This was nothing really new this month, but we have contractual services. The big one, middle of the page, $6,582.69. That's for the certified folder displays. That's the distribution of our brochures that's on the back table, and that's throughout Carson City, Reno, through Tahoe, into Truckee, and a couple other outlying areas as specified by the contract. And that is a yearly. That's for a year, $6,500. Continuing down, the $4,070, that's actually the unemployment for the last quarter. And that's, any questions on anything else on that first page? Okay. Second page, going down, the $7,000 for the building rental, that's actually 2 months, November, December. And contractual services, the next one is a payment for the audit. And the $5,523.80 is our taxation payment. That's the 3/8 that goes to Nevada Commission on Tourism. Everything else on that page is pretty standard operating. Is there any questions on page 2? And looks like page 3 is once again just standard. Looks like most of it is for credit cards, and it was covered under that first page with the credit card payment, and the largest amount's $300. Which was for specialty store services, and that was actually the door counter that we bought for the store. Any questions on page 3? Okay. Page 4 of 5, once again, we have a little bit of travel contractual services for Blue Bridge. That's the mobile app, that's improvements to the mobile app, and based on our contract with our mobile app provider, and nothing else that amounts over 500 on that page.
I just have a
Yes.
question. Red's Old 395 Grill, Kimley Sushi, LA Bakery, obviously, it's all food, it's under operating supplies, but just clarification.
You bet. These are all meetings. It would be myself, and we do have detailed reports on all of the expenses for each one of them. Most of them are meeting with either lodging properties, potential event promoters. A couple of them were event promoters, and the largest, actually, they all amount to, amounts of 2 to 3 people at each one of the meetings. Okay, thanks. And any questions on page 4 before we continue? Okay. Page 5, once again, there's nothing amounting over $130, just standard monthly operations. You can see there is a couple of new ones with the GoDaddy, and those are when we're going out and buying URLs, so that these happen to relate to some of the marketing campaigns we'll do moving forward, Faces of Nevada. So we go out and we grab those, Faces of Nevada, facesofcarsoncity.com. A couple of them were relating to the name change with the fair. We went out and got all of the nevadafair.com and Oregon info at, and so that's what that one's for. That's the largest on that page. And no questions on that. That's all for the ratifications for the November bills ending 2014.
We're good, okay. Oh, yeah, any public comment on the bills? Okay.
I move to approve the ratification of monthly bills for the month of November, excuse me.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Motion passes. For presentation only, 2014 year-end review marketing campaign.
You bet. We'll continue this as part of the end-of-the-year presentation in our December meeting. We'll do a wrap-up of some of the marketing campaigns that we finished throughout the year. All of our independent contractors have created some presentation pieces that Kyle will present to you at any time you have any questions. We'll talk a little bit about moving forward, but we're also going to come back. The January meeting, we'll get right back into the heart of the budget and the numbers and occupancy reports and everything else, but the December meeting will, from here on out, we'll continue just do the end-of-the-year wrap-up on our marketing campaign. And hopefully Kyle needs to touch on the success of our social media symposium this last weekend also. So, great.
I'm just looking for Tara's presentation because, right, flash drive didn't get recognized. I can always do mine first or Cat Hope's if we want to just keep the momentum going. So.
Like Kyle loads it, I'd like to thank the Adams Hub. This last weekend, we had an opportunity to hold our second social media symposium. The symposium is an effort to reach out to the rural communities and local influencers that can create content, and obviously if they have a social media presence, or help them create a social media presence to help us market ourselves and market them. The growth was tremendous. I think on Friday there was a little over 25 that attended for a Friday at the social media symposium. We outgrew any facility that we had at the time, and the Adams Hub stepped up. We were able to use the upstairs. It was a great location, especially with all of the terrific events we had with the Christmas tree lighting on Friday night, and they were very active, and Kyle go over some of the numbers. I think just those 25 created more in that one day than an entire campaign of bringing bloggers in from Nevada Commission on Tourism, so it was very successful. So looks like we're ready to go.
I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the SEO presentation from Cat Hood. She wasn't able to be here today, so hopefully I can present in an eloquent manner the information that she was trying to relay to us. So, again, these are all successes, so this should feel pretty fuzzy. But we get on average about 160 visits per day to the website, unique visits, so those would be new people. 60% of that traffic is brought in by Google and organic search, so we're not paying for really anything right now in regards to search engine. And then people on their phone account for about 65% of the visits. So we made some changes to optimize that for mobile devices, and that's what this slide talks about. So using some of the stuff from, the data collection from the old website, we redesigned the site. This is what it would look like on your mobile phone, this square right here. So when you pull it up, and then so she's kind of showing just how many clicks those spots get, now being at the top, whereas before on a mobile device, they were way down at the bottom. One of the goals was to have the website come up on the front page, and that absolutely happened for anything relative to Carson City, so we knocked that one out of the park. And for the NV 150 Fair, the same thing had happened. We wanted Carson City to come up for anything that with Nevada Fair or State Fair or anything like that. So during that time, our website had almost 5,000 visits during the 60-day ticket sale campaign. And with the new software that we put in, we were able to sell tickets for the rodeo, the Comstock Cowboys, and the wristbands for the event. 67% of the traffic is new visitors, so that's a good thing. New visitors turn into loyal customers. 54% male, 46% female, predominantly from California, with Nevada being the next. You can see the states there that check in: Texas, Washington, Florida, Arizona, New York, Oregon, Illinois, and Colorado. But it's still mainly the Bay Area that's checking in with our site. The amount of time spent per page has increased 17%. So what that means is the content's become more relevant. They're staying on the page, they're reading it, and then clicking through to more pages. Mobile traffic is up 6%, and according to whatever website PR, we have a 5 rating, so that's strong authority. So again, taking the content, making it relevant, making it important and timely, and so we've got a very high rating with website PR. Speed rating is very high, and on the site or outside of Visit Carson City, there's almost 140,000 backlinks bringing you back into Visit Carson City. So that could include other websites, social media that links back, all that good stuff. This just kind of shows kind of the traffic, and really I'm assuming the important thing that she wanted to show is that spike that came in October to the website. I'm kind of curious on what we were doing at that time so we can keep doing that. But that just kind of shows, through the months, the activity of the page. February and March being really high, June through July being very high, and then again bouncing up dramatically in October.
One of the changes that I was able to track, starting in September, we were looking at creating more backlinks into our website. And that increase in backlinks was significant, and I think that's where you're seeing that climb. And obviously, we understand the backlinks in regard to SEO. So obviously, during the slow time in the winter months, it's the best time to do it. But that's the only thing that I could track on the changes during those 2 months.
So all the data that she worked in onto the back end, pretty much still analyzing who's coming to the website, what their demographics are, measuring how they're using the website, so still using the heat maps to see where the mouse is scrolling over, how long it's scrolling over, and just seeing where people are ending up and where they're spending most of their time, so that we can continue to modify and improve the site, just to make it more efficient and valuable, easier to get around. So what's next? Kat's saying increasing the keyword search terms, and essentially what that's referring to is trying to get people to find Carson City when they type in Tahoe ski vacation, ski Lake Tahoe, anything. That Carson City is going to pop up right there too. So that's what we're doing with our outdoor rec, our summer activities pages, things like that, just to try to put more keywords that make us more regionally found. Increasing traffic from additional states, I'll put that on myself as the social media person to try to get more traffic from outside of Nevada and California, and particularly outside of the U.S., which is also a focus of mine as well. And we've been seeing a lot more international visibility, so we should be seeing that correlate on the website as well, because all of our social media drives to the website.
Hey, Kyle, when we do, for search engine optimization, when Carson City comes up, when
Yes.
you say it comes up first, what's the process for that? Is that money that we have to pay, or is that, how does that work?
No, there's two things. SEO is free, so that's all the work that we do on the back end to put, content in, recognizing the certain like keywords and phrases that are in that content that people might be searching for, and then going ahead and designating that on the website so the search engines, when they index our site, they recognize, okay, this site has these phrases, this content, everything like that. So when somebody types it in, Google, for instance, just goes into their little card catalog of words and keywords and says, oh, Carson City would be a good match for this one. Let's put it as number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever it may be. So that's all completely free. That's just us working and doing the right thing on the website redevelopment. Search engine marketing, that's more paying your Google AdWords, your sidebar advertising, even kind of the repurposing stuff that we're getting kind of hit up with from salespeople now about skipping the search engines and going straight to the website. So we actually have not, other than the money on Cathood herself, we haven't spent any money to cheat our way up to page 1. It's all been earned.
And currently, our website, the visitcarsoncity.com, we're number 2. We will stay number 2 behind carson.org. There's really no reason to drive ourselves above the carson.org, which is the Carson City site. The nice thing is, rarely do you see we're above TripAdvisor, we're above Wikipedia, and as you know, 2 years ago, we weren't even on page 1. So we'll make sure that we manage and stay at number 2 with Visit Carson City.
And that's the number 2 spot, not page 2, because we weren't even on page 3 or page 4 sometimes when people were searching Carson City. So now, I mean, we are, a dominating factor for anybody looking for Carson City on Google, Yahoo, Bing, anything like that, where we come up page 1.
So
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
finish.
please.
So if we ever wanted to get to number 1, this is more of a curiosity question.
Yeah.
It's just, at that point, it's a battle of who's the smarter as far as putting keywords in and
There's a definite technique. It's a lot of it is knowing who your customers are. So knowing a year's worth of demographics and how they use the site and what they're looking for, you can go into pages and you can, put those more popular phrases and keywords more throughout the website. It's just a technique of identifying what each page kind of has in regards to value, and then Google goes ahead and tracks all that, and then when somebody's looking for it, they're pretty much the matchmaker. Okay. So what's next? Obviously, we're going to continue to do what we do, integrating the social media, the content writing, more images. Video is extremely important for this next year, and just keep tying it all together. I mean, what we're doing is working, so we're not going to do anything dramatically different. We're just going to do what we're doing better and more frequently. Is the plan with that one. So
I think the benefit on the SEO side is going to, Kyle touched on regionally. Regionally, we want to make sure that Carson City, if somebody's looking for us and they type in Carson City or anything related to Carson City, right now we're at that top. But we're going to see, and our properties and our restaurants and our businesses are going to see an impact when people looking for the region find Carson City as the destination based on a Tahoe search or potentially a Reno or a Carson Valley. And we're going to continue to push, because right now I don't really see anybody else out there in the market that's really emphasizing SEO. So we're certainly ahead of the game.
all right, so that's it for the SEO part. Now we're going to do my social. I just had to be different and buck the template.
Almost matches your shirt, though.
It does kind of. Okay, so this is the social media year in review, and I mean, we get this every single month. I mean, we know that Twitter's men and Facebook's women and what the demographics are. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the normal stats that, we usually go over, but at the end of a year, you get a pretty good picture of some kind of cool different types of stats and some feel-good things. So that's what I'm going to kind of touch on, is more some unique kind of fun facts about the social media and our successes over the year. So with Facebook, we doubled our Facebook likes over the last year. We were just under 1,000 at this time, and we're now just under 2,000 and growing. If you look across the year, summer, go figure, was the most popular month for social media posts. Essentially what that means is that's when we should be taking out our ads. That's when we should be being most active. That's when people are looking. So that just confirms what we already knew. The share rate, which personally I feel is a huge piece of data to look at, we tripled that over the last year. So where we were averaging 1 share per week for all the posts we were putting out, we're now averaging 3 shares per week. That just increases the reach, and really what it says is when somebody shares something is you just put out some valuable content. Okay, so that feels good to me. And then the biggest driver to our Facebook page is actually the Carson Now ads, so the little sidebar that we took out. So that shows us that is money well spent to driving people to our social media. Our average reach per post, now this is over the whole year, and we've had posts go as high as 6,000 reach individually down to 20, but on average our posts reached 340 people as opposed to 152 last year. That doesn't mean that because we're putting more posts out, we are putting more posts out, but it's being designated that they're more valuable posts and more people are seeing those. So our efforts are being seen by more than double than they were last year. We took out 24 paid ads and boosted ads in 2014. That dramatically increases the reach. So with the paid advertising, and this was done mostly in June, July, and August during the summer months, it increased the reach up to between 4,000 and 6,000. So paid advertising was good, and actually I added everything up. We paid less than $600 total and got a reach of 150,000 people. That's unique individuals. So the actual impressions that we got was more than that because those 150,000 people saw our ads 2, 3, sometimes 4 times. So you would take that number and multiply that by the reach to get our impressions for that $600. Goal for next year is to double our page fans up to 4,000. This is a problem that I've been having since taking over, is that we're really, really popular outside of Carson City. Inside of Carson City, I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to express some frustrations as politely as I can, but you look at some of our competitors' Facebook pages like Carson Valley, they have significantly more people, and the people that are liking their post are people from Carson City, because I can see who you are. It's our businesses liking down there, our hotels liking down there, our individuals liking up there. I just want to know, and I'll take all suggestions, how do we get Carson City buying into Carson City? Because we're really proud of what we're promoting, and we're really popular around the world, but you could not get a local, a restaurant, a hotel, a supervisor to come on and like one of our posts or share one of our posts. So please, if you guys have any ideas, I want the goal to be 4,000 next year. I think it's attainable, so please help me out with that. Twitter. I'm in love with this. We get way more bang for our buck on Twitter than we do on Facebook. So these are a couple fun facts from Twitter. Our handle, Visit Carson City, was tagged from 93 locations around the world. So that means people weren't in Europe sharing a post that I made. They were actually generating a brand new post and tagging Visit Carson City. So what that means is 84 different locations in North America, an original post was generated. 5 locations in Europe, 2 locations in South America, and 2 locations in Australia and New Zealand. What that says is people have heard about us already in there through our efforts, and they're now commenting on their own, unprovoked by us, using our tag. And that's not just, they could have done that 100 times from those locations. These are just unique locations that people are tweeting about us from around the world. The post that we generate, that I put out as Visit Carson City, reaches about 12 to 15,000 people a month. So that's just stuff coming from me, not in addition to everybody else around the world that's tagging Visit Carson City. The numbers that I have down below, these are actually weekly numbers. So I went ahead and analyzed the Carson City hashtag that anybody in the world can use, tag your post Carson City. 358 posts this week contained the hashtag Carson City. It had a reach of over 230,000 people with roughly 480,000 impressions. So what that means is those 230,000 people were reached, but they saw that ad at least 2 times each. Maybe some of them saw it once, maybe some of them saw it 3 times, we don't know, but that's how many impressions, or how many times Carson City was mentioned and seen in a post. And then our handle, Visit Carson City, was used 69 times this week for a reach of 63,000 people, and 130,000 impressions, and that includes my piddly 12 to 15K, that I'm contributing to. So there's a lot going on Twitter, and I have to say, the people that are following us on Twitter, I really enjoy the conversations we have and the amount of impact that they bring to our brand. My goal for 2015 is to tweet more. There's so much more to say. Whatever we're saying right now gets the engagement, gets the retweets. It's doing awesome, so I'm going to put out more volume for next year, so you're going to see 3 times the amount of tweets coming out of Visit Carson City in 2015.
Quick question, Kyle.
Yes.
How many of your tweets include like photos or links back to the website?
The formula that I try to use is a picture in every tweet. And if I can't have a picture, then it's got a link to either back to the website or somewhere that has the information. So essentially, you're always going to see hashtag Carson City. You're always going to see a link or a picture in one of those tweets. And that doesn't include all the retweets that other people have thrown out, that we're putting out there too. So did that answer your question, or am I? Yeah. Okay, cool. Is there any more questions on Twitter? Instagram, one of our new platforms. And I do want to mention this. Last year when we were here at the same time, we had 3 platforms. We had Facebook, we had an inactive Twitter or a growing Twitter account, and we had a YouTube account. We now have 6 platforms that we're active on, and one more that's kind of in the on-deck circle, seeing what we're going to do with Google+. But we're now on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and the Vine. So we've actually increased the amount of platforms this year that we're on by three active platforms. So Instagram's one of our newest ones. It's picture only. Since this time last year, we doubled the amount of posts that I put out. So 125 posts registered this year. Last year, it was maybe like 52 that we had put out. So doubled the activity, and we've doubled the amount of followers. We're up to 200 people now. And I remember 2 meetings ago, that was one of the goals that I'd set out, was to really, on a fast track, increase the amount of followers that we have. And it actually, we've been seeing it. There's been a really high rate of increase of followers. Goal for 2015, same thing. I want to double the followers. Our pictures look good. I just want to see more people seeing them, And then again, because they look good, the engagement's there. We're getting the likes. We're getting the comments. I just want to see more eyes on our pictures. The newsletter, we just took that over 2 months ago. We've sent out 1 newsletter and 1 announcement about the ski packages since we've taken over. The big plus is that the subscriber level is back up to where it was in May. We were starting to lose subscribers exponentially, so we've stopped the bleeding, and we've started to get the numbers back up to where they are in May. We're not quite over 10,000, but that is a goal, is to get back over 10,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, the click-through rate and the open rate is still below the industry standard, probably by a couple percentage points, and I'm just hoping as we send more stuff out, quality, and people are starting to be reminded, oh, okay, yeah, I should probably read this, that's going to go up again. So goal for 2015 is going to be increase the open rates and click-throughs to at or above industry standards. And like I said, we're probably like 3 to 4% away from that right now. The social media symposium that happened this last weekend, and it was an absolute huge success. I could just blubber over how much I loved this last weekend. It was just awesome. So these are a couple highlights from the weekend. We had 7 speakers, 8 great topics. I had to go back to back to cover the SEO talk at that one too, but it went well. Everybody was pretty much sick of hearing my voice at the end of 2 hours of talking. We had 30 attendees, 25 of them were pre-registered. So we had a couple drop-ins, and even on Saturday, some people from college marketing classes, their teacher had heard about it in the newspaper, told them they could get extra credit if they came in on Saturday. So we had some college kids just drop into it. There was also an idea inventors thing going on at the Adams Hub that actually didn't float, but a couple people didn't hear that. They showed up, and they also sat in on the thing too. So 25 pre-registered, 30 attendees coming as far as Lovelock and Gerlach. And there were 2 repeat attendees from last year, which I thought was really cool as well. There were 6 different art organizations from across Nevada represented. So Nevada Art Council sent out a blast, got a lot of artists there. And this was the coolest thing. We used the hashtag to define our conversation about that social media symposium as SoMeNV14, meaning Social Media Nevada 2014. That hashtag got 72 posts between, actually that was just Twitter. There was also Facebook and YouTube mentions of this as well. But just on Twitter alone, 72 posts using that hashtag from 24 users, 35 retweets. Okay, so that's their users thinking, oh, wow, that's really cool. I'm going to retweet that back out for a reach of 7,434 individuals seeing that post multiple times for 52,000 impressions. And like Joel was saying, for some of the other fam tours that are Twitter oriented, that's awesome right there. That's a huge impact for a 2-day event that really cost us barely anything, a lunch, some donuts, some coffee, and the tables to put it up there. So this was a huge success. I hope you guys, if you need any convincing about the value of this to visit Carson City, come talk to me. But this is something that this needs to happen every single year because it's really growing and is beneficial.
I'm curious, who were the attendees?
I know the group from Lovelock were from their Chamber of
It
Commerce.
was the Chamber of Commerce. You had people from Lyon and Story County that do their communications. The 6 art organizations were mostly from Reno. You had the Black Rock Desert, which is out of Gerlach, which actually they just opened their Instagram yesterday. We were their first follower, and we were the first ones to like their very first post. So that was really cool.
And actually, it was Michael Myers with the Black Rock Desert. He posted some great videos of the Christmas tree lighting. That was the other thing, the dynamic of all of this happening on this weekend with the events we had around our community. We had tweets from the ice rink to the Christmas tree lighting all downtown.
To the new brewery who had fired up their wood grill or wood oven that day to do pizza, and we got a special invite to come in there. So the new brewery, Westside Poorhouse, who did our catering for us, they got a whole bunch of play in addition to the Festival of Lights and all the other stuff. So that's really what you want out of an event like that when you position yourself as the educators of your peer group. They played nicely. They reciprocated. So that was awesome to see.
Yeah. Locally, there were a couple of lodging properties that sent employees to sit in to also create their social media platform.
And I can tell you, because I presented at the first one in March, and then I presented on Friday, and it was a significant increase from last year, and it was a lot of fun, so.
Cool. Yeah, no, but we had 10 people signed up last year. I think on Saturday there was 8 left. And so this time there was, 30 people on Friday and pretty darn close to 30 people on Saturday too. And then all the speakers, including Renee, had nothing but great things to say about their experience and asked if they could be involved next year too. So hopefully we'll continue to see this grow. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, great job, Kyle. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. All right, Joel, if you want to talk while I try to find
All right,
Tara's.
Joel.
All right.
Executive
If Kyle
Director's
happens
report.
to find Tara's slideshow is just a slideshow of all the different pieces we used in our marketing. Obviously, we still do some print advertisement. We do all our rack cards, and so she put together a lot of the different graphics on it. But hopefully, we have, and most of it you've seen and throughout all of our presentations that we bring throughout the year. But as far as the executive director's report, I'm not going to go into detail. I do not have, as part of the packet this month, we're still short 2 properties, so we have incomplete numbers as far as our occupancy. We had 2 properties that have new ownership, and with that new ownership, we still have not received the room tax, and it changes all the numbers from our occupancy to our trailing 12. Without those reporting still, the numbers are still, we're seeing those increases. Without the 2 properties in right now, our trailing 12 report was a little over $14.2 million. That's still an increase of over 10% from last year and up 18% from the year before. top 13 properties, we're still seeing an increase, above 5%, actually at 7.6, and a little over $1 million representing just those top 13 properties. We're going to be working in changing how I present the occupancy and the revenue reports. Currently, we just kind of did the same that we've done over the years and break out the top 13 properties, top 5 properties. When we report on all properties, though, that takes into account some of the properties in town that really do not rent rooms to visitors. They're more inclined to give long-term stay, the 28-plus days, and they're still part of our occupancy report. So they'll show on their monthly reports that they may have 400, 500, 600 rooms available, but they're showing a number of maybe 2 rooms throughout the entire month that they rented. And it just completely skews our data. So when we do star reports and do comparisons of properties from outlying areas compared to some of ours, it just isn't the same. It's not the same data, so we'll change that. In addition, we've got our RV spots as part of our occupancy ward. I think we need to do a secondary report for that because they're not selling a lot of RV spots during the winter months. So we'll bring that back with the detailed budget reports in their January meeting, but we're still seeing the same increases. It's great to see that in comparison to last year and the year before, and really looking forward to February when we get the legislative session started. So, what's that? Okay. Send you back to Kyle.
I don't think I should talk during this. I don't know. Okay. Should I talk?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hey, why not? Okay. So this is all from Tara. So objectives for the next year, continuing to support the CVB and the rebranding we developed from last year, maintain marketing to promote the CVB app, graphically support any incoming events, tournaments with brochures, logo designs, save the date cards, rack cards, event signage, etc. Produce signage and marketing pieces to promote the items in the CVB store. Develop new and up-to-date marketing pieces, which would be our calendar, quarterly event rack cards, table tents, postcards, things like that. And then she works on the graphics for the social media, watermarks our images, does our icons, logos, cover photos and stuff like that as well. Overall graphic and marketing supports, and continued work on our visitors guide, facilities guide, and Fuji Fairgrounds guide. This is the image from the calendar that just came out. So this is the cover photo with the image from the powwow, and then down below the 12 images. And I was excited to see that Blinky Man made the image for the October. Our visitors guide got complete. There was a lot of compliments when I was handing that out at the governor's conference, and really the Visitors Bureau. It's just a much easier piece to handle, being in that rack card size shape, and then the facilities guide with the rodeo. We did the bell this year, which sold out in like less than 10 hours, it seemed like. It was the minute the door opened, we had a line of people rushing for that. So that was the image that Terry used for promoting of the bell. And we're talking about how to do another bell soon for something else, because it was just such a success. These are promoting the app. And what you have is a handout on the top corner, and then down below is actually the ad that went into the Canadian Tour Guide magazine. So we took out an ad earlier in the year to try to target Canada, the bus tours, people who were bringing groups down from Canada, and that's what we put out promoting the app so that they could stay in touch no matter from where they were at. Quarterly event rack cards, so you get front and back. The back goes ahead and the events rotate, for the time period. So nice that we can do those on site, as well as some posters for some of the special events that we've partnered up with, the Kiwanis Golf Tournament, Battleborn Brewfest, and the Harley Bike Week, as well as the Sheriff's Motor Officer Training event, which we're partnered with again this year, and kind of put the Brewfest and the officer thing together into one awesome package. Postcards, you wouldn't believe how many people come into the Visitors Bureau looking for postcards, and Carson City postcards, really hard to find. You can't really, they're just not lying around everywhere around town. You can find a Tahoe one, you can find a Reno one, but we're making the Carson City one. So here's a couple examples of a few, and there's many more than just this of our postcards. ski and stay packages, which were launched a few weeks ago. So this was the poster that she made for that one, and that image is getting around town, as well as being emailed out and shared digitally. So hopefully with the snow on the ground now, we'll start seeing some more purchases. Sports tournament examples, just some pieces that she had done for the SYFL experience. And that's about that. Any questions that I could pass on to Tara or try to wing about the graphics?
One thing that Kyle mentioned, one thing we didn't necessarily forego, but we were certainly slow in the coming this year with some press releases because we have a terrific outreach when it comes to our social media and awareness of what we're doing. We have failed to send out the press releases that'll get us into some of the print media. So we're going to, once again, step up. We've contracted actually through Kat Allison and her group. She's expanding out and has someone to handle some content and do some press releases for us. So we'll continue. We'll develop a little more consistent in our press releases to get that information out to the local newspapers and regionally if it goes to the AP. The rebranding, the one thing that Tara touched on in the beginning, a rebranding can take, a great deal of time, several years. I have to tell you, I'm pretty confident that we've rebranded our community in a short time. I know that now because we have event promoters that would have never looked at Carson City for outdoor events. I'm working with a couple of promoters right now for some pretty significant events pertaining to running, mountain biking, and we're talking because of the proximity of where Carson City is in the region. That rebranding is significant for us, and we're only going to continue to see that in the future. So, and I can say that the gentleman that I'm working with now on a pretty significant mountain biking event will be one of those that may become one of our key events in Carson City, and we're looking at 2016. In our proximity to the Rim Trail, but surprisingly, when I talked to him on the phone, he told me, listen, I have your app downloaded. I'm going through your app right now, and I'm seeing all of these trail systems. It's great. I don't have to ask about your trails. I don't have to ask how many miles, because they're looking at races that'll be 15, 30, 40, and 50-mile races over a course of 3 days. And just because of the awareness we have in our mobile app, they now know that we can host an event as significant as what they want to bring to us. So I think that we've been very successful in rebranding. And once again, not even foregoing our historical significance, which is always going to be key to Carson City. So,
Joel, can I add something to that? This was something new that just happened this morning, actually, that I wasn't able to get into the presentation, but I want to add. Earlier in the year, Outside Magazine did I don't know if you call it a contest or whatever, but they recognized cities from around the country, western cities, Midwest, Northeast, South, like segmented off into four parts of the country. Carson City was recognized as one of the best outdoor cities in the country to live in. This was done really, really early in the summertime. All right, that was a huge honor. What needed to happen is people needed to click on that link to go to Outside Magazine, and they could vote for Carson City. We didn't get a whole lot of action from it because, we're still trying to, get that going. But just this morning, USA Today's top 10 best list came out with the top 10 capital cities in America that you needed to visit. Carson City was nominated. Okay. The fact that to me is telling that the rebranding effort is working, to be recognized as one of the best outdoor cities to live in, one of the best state capitals in the country that you have to go visit. Right now, if you go to our Facebook page or if you go straight to USA Today 10, you can vote for Carson City. And I would hope just out of the sheer fact that it's our city, whether you look at other places and you're like, well, maybe I want to go. No, this is your city, and every single one of us needs to go onto USA Today, top 10, or our Facebook page and vote for Carson City as one of the best state capitals to visit in the United States.
How long is the voting open till? Do you know?
It just opened today,
okay.
So you've got till the end of the week.
And currently we are third.
How's the word getting out?
I sent a link to that post out through every line of social media that I could. Any page that I manage, I've shared it. I sent it out to the newspapers.
I think you have a suggestion for the headline tomorrow in the Nevada appeal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So anyway, that's the type of community support that we're looking for here. Obviously we're getting the views outside of Nevada. We're getting it internationally. We're getting recognized throughout the country. We're ready for Carson City to come on up with us.
One that wasn't quite surprising, but when we put out the same opportunity with the Outside Magazine, having Carson City listed as a destination site for quality of life outdoor recreation, we had locals writing back to us on our post and saying, listen, we don't want anyone to know.
Can you not tell anybody
Can you not
this?
tell
We
anybody
don't
how
want-
great we are?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell everybody.
And
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can emphasize, it's great to keep it to ourselves, but the fact that we now know over the course of the last 2 years that 35% of all taxable sales in Carson City come from visitors, we need visitors. And we need people to know how great we are.
Okay, specifically for viewers that are watching, how do they go online and vote?
You could go to our Facebook page, or you could type into your search bar USA Today 10 Best, and that is their most current survey that they have going on right now. So
10 spelled out, 10 the number 10?
10, the number 10.
Okay.
And they also have it on their Facebook page as well, and their Facebook page is just 10 Best is their handle. So, and you'll actually be seeing me pushing this out more tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Like, it literally just came out this morning. They let us know, and the race is on.
So in the last 2 minutes, I went on to the Facebook page and I shared it to mine and I voted. So it's super, super easy.
There we go.
Yeah, on USA Today, it is a single-click vote. Very simple.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Renee.
And as far as that's it. The next thing I have is our January meeting, which would be January 12th, if there's any other questions of me. Yep. Oh, yeah, one of the things I've told the board over the course of the last several months is we are going to, once again, kind of rebuild, retheme the lodging property meetings. And we are going to have our first lodging property meeting at the new Visitors Bureau at 716 North Carson Street. That will be on January 7th. It's going to be an informative, friendly setting, and all properties are encouraged to attend. All properties, regardless of their size or who they serve, needs to be a part of how we market Carson City and needs to see this bureau. So please, any of the lodging properties, management, marketing staff, front line, whoever you want to bring. So once again, it'll be 1 o'clock, January 7th, and that's at the new Visitors Bureau at 716 North Carson Street.
All right, just make sure we're all there. Okay, any public comments on this meeting or anything else somebody wants to talk about? All right, seeing there's none, we'll go to board comments or announcements. Any announcements? Okay. Well then, for possible action to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks.